there, my friends. Well, I have two completely different subjects that I wanted to talk about today. I didn't even intend on making a video today specifically. I was actually going to save some of these for a podcast I was going to do this weekend. But the two subjects would be completely unrelated. One being what we've done in Iraq and elsewhere in Afghanistan, and just the big joke of, America saving the day by sending our military overseas and using depleted uranium shells and a million of other things. I didn't even want to touch on that subject because it's just such, I don't know, it's brutal. It's a brutal subject. But I only mention that because the complete opposite, it seems, is what I'm going to talk about today, which is music. And as I always declare ahead of time, this video is freestyle, which means I'm not going to do any editing as usual, but I don't have any notes. So I will leave out some things I want to mention, and I'll probably add them in the comments later or in the description, but probably won't add a lot on this one because music is so subjective it's difficult to even discuss it, right? I love a lot of different forms of music. I don't even know how to put it. I mean, I grew up listening to everything in the 80s, from pop rock to rap, and then moving into heavy metal, Pantera, Megadeth, then moving into the Grateful Dead, discovering all the hippie music, then Fish, then going into really starting to respect a lot of the way older music. And of course, in the meantime, I liked, CSNY and a lot of the hippie music, but also like, the Led Zeppelin. I've gone a long way in my life, but when I hit EDM or dance music, it was at Soak, which is a Burning Man type event. And this all has a point. It's not a story about me at all. This is a story about music and what I've learned about why we like music. So I went to Soak one year and we played as a band. My brother and I and our friend Sam, he said, hey, we can play this event. It's like the regional Burning Man for Oregon, and it's called Soak. And then we can play there. We don't get paid, but we get exposure, right? So we drove down there and played. It was a blast. I had a great time. Ate mushrooms, I think, wandered around and had fun. The next year, we're like, we've got to do this again. Had hardly even a crowd at all. I mean, in fact, we had to stop our set short because they were going to do the burn, where they burned the little mini Burning Man effigy. And it's like, all right, but then right after that ended, we started our show, and some people wandered in and listened. We had a great time, but most of all, I've been going for the last 10 years, and I missed this year because of COVID, and last year because I couldn't get a ticket. But I built a connection to EDM, or electronic dance music, through taking psychedelics while I was at the events. The reason is because psychedelics are deeply connected with serotonin, and serotonin is deeply connected with music. Now, I've looked up and tried to find information on how music, whenever I look up serotonin relating to music, what it shows is how music if you listen to music you love, it can produce serotonin and make you feel good, which makes sense because it brings back past memories that you had. It's kind of a trigger of, wow, I remember hearing this at a certain time. Now, these are very strong feelings. They don't work for everyone. Is there a term? I think it's called anhedonia, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong. Where people don't like music. And there are certain conditions where people hear music and it sounds like garbage to them and they do not enjoy any music. But that's a small percentage. A majority of people find music that they do like, right? And I've had so many weird run-ins with music lately. And it's been a really emotional year. And I've had run-ins with new music, old music, discussions with people about it. And this all started, I guess, when I was a kid and I started listening to stupid phones. When I was a kid, I started listening to heavy metal, and I just we played in this band. And then when I was older, I played with my brother in kind of a jam band. And the feeling of playing music is something completely different than listening to it. But it's on the same par. you feel good because your people are listening to your music and you're playing music you like. But at the same time, when you're just listening to others, you're getting that same feeling as the crowd that you're with, right? Who's watching the band. So you go to a live concert and it's like the most amazing experience. So going to see a Fish concert or the Grateful Dead, I've been to, I don't know, a dozen or 15 Dead shows, you know, and like 9 with Jerry Garcia. So I went back in the day, you know, and then kind of revisited later. And I go for the feeling. I love the music. Even though they're different people playing the music, some of them are the originals, but I even go to see Grateful Dead cover bands. So, of course, I'd go see, you know, whatever they're playing. Anything that rings a bell from when you're young. The other day, my wife played for me a song that they played because somebody we lost a year ago, and it was the anniversary. And they played Billie Eilish, I Love You, and I posted that the other day and shared it. That song makes me cry. It does, and it's because now it's been attached to an idea. But also, it's about losing someone, and we've all lost someone. I guess a lot of people haven't yet. When you start losing loved ones, it's painful, and you find music that you can hear and say, wow, that sounds like my situation, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. All musicians understand this, and all people who listen to music understand this. Everybody has a different view of what a song's about, you know? And it doesn't matter what the original song was. What matters is how it feels to you as an individual. So a lot of people are very analytical about their music. I mean, but I'm not. I don't want to know about everything about a band member's life or the song itself. Mostly I just want to listen to it and enjoy it. But as a musician, at the same time, I have a respect for good music. It's like the other day, my brother and I talked about Van Halen, and I posted something about that a week or two ago. Like, a lot of people really loved Van Halen. I don't like them. I can't even listen to a full Van Halen song. Can't stand them. But to each their own, right? It was weird because my mom and I talked about Elvis because I sent her that Billie Eilish song. I was like, wow, this song makes me cry. It's an amazing song and it's well written. And she said, she was talking about Elvis. And I started thinking about Elvis Presley and the music back in the day and how, because she said how things change over time and how there's a lot more processed or the music has too much technology behind it, basically, which I totally agree with. But then I thought about how when Elvis was playing, electric guitar was actually new. That was new technology to them, and then a lot of people hated Elvis. But when she was a kid, of course, she saw it differently because she built that childlike wonder and an attachment to Elvis Presley. He's impressive. The thing that blows me away is that Elvis didn't write any of his own songs. I think he only co-wrote a few. Out of 600 songs he performed, he didn't write any of them. He was like the first boy band, but he was the only boy. And it's kind of, you know, when you find that out, it's kind of depressing, really. The point being that when I look back through history, most of the bands back then were catered, either had to play on your own label, or if you wanted to go mainstream, you had to change what you said. Like when the Doors couldn't say higher, you know, when they were playing their song. It's pretty ludicrous in the past when you look back at what was censored and what's not now. But music is what you make it, is really the point. And when you hear a song that you relate to something else or a situation in life, you can have a major flow of serotonin. And once you bonded to a song, it's not just serotonin, it can be oxytocin. So with MDMA or taking psychedelics, a lot of the times when people take these substances and they hear a certain song or music, they can bond strongly to this music. All of us have done it in the psychedelic community. Anybody who's ever been to a Grateful Dead show or a Fish concert has come away from it with at least, if they've taken psychedelics, came away and said, wow, I had this amazing moment where we were listening to this crazy spacey jam that ordinarily wouldn't even mean anything, but all of a sudden it meant more. So when I try to look up music creating a feeling for that music, I usually find it, like, in other words, if you liked a song when you were young and you hear it later, it will, create a serotonin flow in a way. But not necessarily. Sometimes if you've already taken a substance where you have serotonin, like MDMA or psychedelics, and you hear a song that you've never heard in your life, you can bond to that song. And it may be oxytocin. There's not enough research on psychedelics to know if oxytocin is the main chemical. They've done plenty of laboratory studies on animals, but you know what? I don't think we need lab studies on psychedelics to know that anybody who's taken them enough can understand that they can bond you with just about anything or anyone, which is very dangerous actually for people who take MDMA and go to these raves and they meet some guy or some girl and they think, oh, we're in love for life, and then a couple days later they're like, oh my God, I was just really high. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about just more subtle doses and being emotionally in touch with your own, feelings. Music can make you laugh. It can make you cry. It can make you angry. It can make you feel anything you want to feel if you listen to the right music. And that's very subjective. Each individual knows what they like, and I hope that all of you have something that you like, because music is a blast. Maybe I guess the message to walk away with would be, don't ever feel like you have to like a certain type of music. Actually, what I'd like to leave with is a more important note. The problem when I don't write things down is I don't get to the points I really wanted to make, and this one is the most crucial point I wanted to make. When I was looking on the Billie Eilish video, she plays with her brother, okay? Some of her first songs, she was like 14 years old. They're amazing songs, and they write them together. That song, I Love You, is a phenomenal song. And I found out there, because they do it live where she's sitting with her brother on a bed, and I thought, that's kind of interesting. It's weird, but I'm sure there's a reason. Turns out they wrote it together while they were sitting on the bed, so naturally they would play it there. Phenomenal song, and you can tell she really feels it, and it's like, wow, and so does he. They're amazing duo. And I thought, God damn, when I was 14, I was playing guitar, I was trying, or playing bass, but I sucked. There's no way. The kids of today are so on top of their shit, and they can express themselves on SoundCloud or anywhere they want. We had no chance. I was forced down and told basically, you'll never be a rock star. Music is a dead-end path. Everybody told us that. And for a lot of people it was. But now I know if I would have pursued it full strength, I'm sure I could have. But whatever. Here we are, right? It's never too late is the point. We can all play music, and I enjoy playing music for the sake of the music. But, damn it, brain fart. That's all right. There was a point about bringing up that video, but I just hope that everybody has something that they like. Damn it, no. I don't want to forget what the point of that was. Anyway, it's all good. What people can come up with in their heads for music is amazing. Like I said, when I found out Elvis didn't write his own songs, it was like not really that surprising. Back then, especially. Today, you can just write a song, play it from your heart, and if it works, it works. The other day I was going through my old cassette tapes, and I found a recording of myself playing my very first songs that I had ever recorded when I was like 16, 17. And I didn't even realize it was me at first, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh shit, I remember playing this, and then I started singing. We didn't have that option to record right onto a computer. You had to have a couple tape recorders and an 8-track, and you had to be able to afford it. Something we never had. And if you're a musician, just, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from. It's amazing to be able to put your stuff up quickly. I still have a dream of kind of making an album, but I think it's going to take a couple of years because I know better than to rush through it. I have about a dozen songs I want to share, and we'll see what happens. It might be worth it, actually, but I know how much time it takes, and I have kids, I have a family. thought maybe when I get older I can just finally do these things without feeling bad about it. But anyway, I kind of brain farted and lost my line of thought on that last round, and I'm kind of done talking about music now, because otherwise I'll just go on for another 20 minutes, and that seems to be about 15 minutes of free thinking. And I'll talk to you soon. Hope you all are doing well out there. Don't mind the election. It's not happening. Don't worry.